Sources tell CNN that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is planning on allowing Americans to receive a different coronavirus vaccine for their booster shots than their original dose. This comes after the NIH presented research last week showing it was safe to mix boosters, and mixing and matching actually revved up immune response. Also tonight, we have new data about vaccinations. According to the CDC, 57.1% of the U.S. population is vaccinated. That's about 189 million people. 22.8%, or about 65 million people of the eligible population, are not vaccinated, and 35 states have vaccinated more than one-half of their residents. Meanwhile, all across the country, high-profile doctors, physicians who went to medical school are persuading people not to get the COVID vaccine, to ignore health measures like wearing masks. You're about to hear exclusively from one doctor who makes frightening statements about COVID and the vaccine that are wrong. But we think it's important for the public to hear his beliefs together with the truth, because he and other high-profile physicians who deny the facts collectively reach millions of Americans. While the vast majority realize it's BS, a dangerous number of people believe the lies. Here's CNN senior investigative correspondent Drew Griffin.
Dr. Rashid Buttar at one time had more than 1 million followers and is considered one of the top spreaders of disinformation about COVID-19.
More people are dying from the COVID vaccine than from COVID.
That is not true. Neither is his tweet that the Red Cross won't accept blood from people who have had the COVID-19 vaccine. He posted most who took COVID vaccines will be dead by 2025. But his biggest whopper is the overarching conspiracy theory that COVID was a planned operation, which was politically motivated as part of a secret global plot to depopulate the earth.
You believe the pandemic was planned?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
But you don't know by whom?
I have no idea.
And you don't know why?
Well, I suspect that there's the research that's coming now that would indicate that it's probably something to reduce the population or minimize reproduction rates.
It would be laughable if it wasn't so dangerous. Buttar compares COVID and the vaccine to World War II, and Dr. Anthony Fauci to Adolf Hitler.
Fauci is a criminal. You talk about Hitler? Okay, well.
Whoever Dr. Fauci is in your mind, he is a government bureaucrat, and you're comparing him to Hitler.
Well, I mean,
to Nazis.
I am.
Who killed 6 million Jews.
I think this number is going to be higher.
You think Dr. Fauci is involved in some kind of plot to kill millions of people? I just want to make sure I understand this.
Again, Drew, I'm a reasonable person. You're asking me what I think, and I said it could be this, but I can tell you that Dr. Fauci is not an innocent bystander. He's very well aware of what he's doing, and the extent of it and his involvement, I don't know. I'm not privy to that information.
As atrocious as Dr. Buttar's fake conclusions and conspiracy theories are, he is just one of the doctors spreading dangerous COVID disinformation to millions of people across social media, according to the Center for Countering Digital Hate.
Let's be absolutely clear. Lies cost lives in a pandemic. If you're encouraging people not to vaccinate, you will cause people to lose their lives.
Buttar is encouraging people to distrust life-saving vaccines. And like other disinformers, he is using false, twisted information and unproven conspiracies to do it.
Do you think the COVID vaccine works?
I think that the COVID vaccine is very effective at what it was designed for, perhaps, but it's not preventing death, certainly not.
It's not preventing death?
No.
Even faced with indisputable facts, Buttar doubles down on his belief that life-saving vaccines are more dangerous than the virus itself.
People don't die from COVID. You've already seen the data. So why are we getting a vaccine that causes more deaths than the problem itself?
6.34 billion doses of this vaccine have been given. If you're right, people be dropping dead all around this hotel.
It's not orchestrated to do that.
It's not orchestrated to do that.
Each vaccine has been geared up. So you can look at the ingredients of the vaccines themselves. It's all been published.
Complete the sentence. Each vaccine has been geared up for what?
Well,
there's a time part?
Each vaccine is designed, it appears to be different. I don't know the details because I'm not a vaccine developer.
Scientific corruption.
Because of his disinformation, Buttar has been removed from Facebook and Instagram, but he's still going strong on Twitter, Telegram, and his own website all filled with falsehoods.
On September 5th, you retweeted a photo of an AstraZeneca packaging that seems to indicate the vaccine was made in 2018. That picture that you retweeted was a doctored photo. It was fake.
Perhaps it was fake, but
Why would you do that?
So, Drew, let me ask you something. You're saying it's not reasonable to question the same agencies that have resulted in numerous deaths, i.e. the FDA?
It's reasonable to ask questions. What I don't understand is how you get from your asking questions to your belief. You had 1.2 million followers at one point.
Yes.
They got false information from you. Not correct or challenging medical information. They got a doctored photo.
If I sent a tweet out of a picture that was doctored and I didn't know about it, I'm not perfect. Maybe I did make that mistake. But I'm not making mistakes on the numbers.
The very latest vaccine studies show they remain 90% effective in preventing hospitalization and death. Buttar tells his followers it is the vaccine that is the danger.
We already see thousands of people dying. This Delta variant is all vaccine injury. I mean, the CDC's own data is showing that now.
That's just not true.
I don't want to be part of this mass genocide that I see happening. And I think that what's going on right now will be remembered as a worst time in history compared to what World War II happened.
I just want to be straight with you. I think you're crazy.
Before COVID, North Carolina's Board of Medicine reprimanded Buttar twice for the way he was treating autism and cancer patients. The board accused him of charging exorbitant fees for his ineffectual therapies, which he denied, including injecting a patient with hydrogen peroxide. The FDA also sent him a warning letter over products he made and sold that promised to do everything from treating chronic pain to improving sex drive.
And yet I have an unrestricted license to practice for 30 years.
And that is the problem. Dr. Rashid Buttar repeatedly lies and disinforms on matters of public health, yet that doesn't have an impact on his medical license held in North Carolina.
Lions, not sheep!
Across the country, COVID-19 has created a subculture of disinformation among medical outcasts, and state medical boards don't know what to do.
Those kinds of comments are very troubling to doctors who are on the front lines and managing COVID. They're particularly frustrating. In fact, some of my colleagues are livid.
CNN contacted medical boards in all 50 states. Half of them responded. Only 2, Rhode Island and Oregon, said they had actually disciplined doctors for coronavirus misinformation or related violations. That is despite hundreds of complaints. The Federation of State Medical Boards issued a warning to physicians who generate and spread COVID-19 vaccine misinformation or disinformation that they are risking disciplinary action, including the suspension or revocation of their medical license.
Especially in a pandemic, your actions could lead to the deaths of thousands of individuals because people trust what doctors say.
Buttar doesn't seem to care.
You had an outsized influence over just somebody who's living down the street in terms of people getting their medical advice. You have to admit that.
Absolutely. Absolutely I did.
And you are raising doubt about a vaccine.
I hope I am, because I hope more people take heed of the warning that is necessary.
And if you are wrong and they die because of that?
I am confident, more than confident, in my ability to have looked at the data and observe what's going on, and that if I'm wrong, so be it, because I have to look at myself in the mirror every night when I go to bed and every morning when I get up. And I don't lose any sleep, Drew.
Drew Griffin joins us now. I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this guy, but I'm stunned that he still has a license, and that, you know, I mean, I know medical boards protect doctors, you know, like to protect each other and stuff, and it's very hard to get a doctor have him lose his license. But I mean, this is just incredible, the stuff that this guy is saying, and it's just, I mean, is he making a lot of money doing this?
This is how he makes money. He also has lots of patients who, quite frankly, have nowhere else to go, so they turn to him. He sells hope that he mostly cannot deliver on. The medical boards are really geared
towards the last century. They are not geared up for this kind of disinformation online. They're geared for a patient going to see a doctor who is, treated badly, and then there's basically a lawsuit that comes out the other end. This guy is disinforming patients he doesn't even know or meet, and that is the problem. People sitting at home on the internet believing that this guy, who very much reminds me, Anderson, of that pillow guy, who's looking at basic facts and so misinterpreting them that it's hard to believe. But he is doing it in such a way that he's telling these people and convincing them not to get a life-saving vaccine. It is really troubling.
I was reading the fine print on what he was accused of before in some of his practice. I actually did a piece years ago on 60 Minutes about another guy who was doing the same sorts of treatments that show no efficacy. It's stunning that this guy's just still out there and still, saying what he's saying. Drew, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.